Hi, this is Ingvar, and in this video we are going to look at a cool game by the 7th world champion Vasily Smyslov. Now, this game was played in 1935 when Smyslov was 14 years old, and this is the first game in his book, Smyslov Selected Game, between 1935 and 1957. And in an interview with Bjornsson, the famous Dutch chess writer, Smyslov looks back fondly on this tournament, which he played when he was 14 years old, and he won all 11 of his games, so he mentioned that as a memorable tournament. Now Smyslov, I mentioned in an earlier video, was, probably an underrated world champion. He was a very natural player, nicknamed by many the Hand because of how easily the games came to him. He moved through his hand by intuition. And I was surprised one day when I was listening to an Icelandic pop song, and all of a sudden Smyslov popped up in the lyrics. Let's have a quick look at that. So here's the bit from the song, and I was very surprised when I heard it for the first time. So it goes like this: I didn't know French, but I listened to Stones. Play chess with Smyslov. Yeah. I was like, what? You played chess with Smyslov? So yeah, that was that. But yeah, it kind of shows how chess culture was in Iceland. That Smyslov is well known to, like, people that don't really play chess or know that much about chess. So I thought that was pretty cool. But moving on to the game, Smyslov had the black pieces. His opponent was named Gerasimov, and let's just dive into it. Gerasimov opened with d4 and d5 from Smyslov, and we see the collie with e3, bishop to d3, and now white has a choice to play c3, or as he did in the game, to play b3, which is the collie Sukutorta variation. Knight c6 from Smyslov, and we see normal development from white, castles. Smyslov went with queen to c7, delaying castling for now. a3 by white, preventing any knight b4 ideas. Black might have been thinking about with queen c7 to take on d4 and then play knight b4. And now b6, c4. So now we have this tension in the center, and Smyslov answers with bishop b7. Now we'll notice that the position is completely symmetrical. We have the exact same moves by both sides, except that black has his queen on c7 and white has castled. So we should be around equal, but actually black has to be careful here. White has the move, and probably he should clarify the situation in the center, but his opponent played knight c3. After a6 we once again enter symmetry. And now rook e1 by Smyslov's opponent. Better would have been to perhaps take on d5 and go for the hanging pawns. But now Smyslov clarifies the center a bit. He takes on d4, castles his king, and now knight a4 by white. This perhaps has ideas of taking on b6 and then playing pawn to c5, something of that sort, or just playing c5 immediately. Actually, knight takes b6 and c5 might lose a pawn, although you get some compensation with the bishop. But both of these are ideas which prompted Smyslov to play bishop to f4. Now here white should have played g3 or even c5, trying to keep this bishop on b7 out of business, but instead he played knight to e5. This, however, allowed Smyslov to unleash his pieces, and he did so in convincing fashion. He took on c4, first and foremost opening up the diagonal for this bishop. Then he took on e5 and played queen to c6. So lining up the queen and the bishop, well, like this. Threatening mate on g2. His opponent defended with bishop to f1. Perhaps f3 was a better move. And now rook f to d8 coming to the open file, and this proves to be a very important move. Queen to b3. A better move would have been queen to f3, which would have prevented the catastrophe that is about to happen. Okay, black can take here, but this attack here keeps white in the game, although black is better. But after queen to b3, disaster is about to strike. Knight g4 by Smyslov, attack on h2 and h3. And now Smyslov unleashed a fantastic move. I really encourage you to pause the video and try to find the move. And it's not immediately obvious, you have to think about it a little bit. There are actually two ways to win, but the second way also contains the same idea as the move that I'm looking for. So I think if you find either one, you'll find what the first move is supposed to be, what Smyslov played. And play around with it a little bit. You know, there are some ideas here. Of course, we have this battery here. There's only the bishop protecting it. If the king were to move to the corner, we can play a bishop check, and then the king must go to the corner. In that case, this pawn would be pinned. There's knight takes f2. There are plenty of ideas here. And while I clean up here, I will give you the last moments to find what Smyslov played. Smyslov played. Are you ready? Are you ready? Rook d3. What a move. Okay, what's going on here? Let's look at some alternatives to what was played in the game. Okay, we can immediately eliminate this one. This is just checkmate. Bishop has to protect g2. So that's why it's really not attacked as often as it looks. Queen takes d3. This deflects the queen to a bad square, because now we can play the bishop to h2. King must go to the corner, and now knight takes f2, and the queen is on a most unfortunate square. King takes h2, and you can't even take on f1. The bishop is overloaded, has to protect g2 still. So this is too much material that the white is losing. Completely winning position for black. So the rook can't be captured. So what's left? Well, in the game, Gerasimov played queen takes b6. So now what's the idea? Rook d3 was cool, but what's the idea? It would be much cooler if the queen was undefended here. And we see shades of Rotlevi Rubinstein here. Rook takes h3. Cracker of a move. Cracker of a move. Like I said, you know, it would be cool if the queen was undefended, which it isn't, because then we have a beautiful checkmate with bishop h2, and now with the bishop covered, there's knight takes f2. This didn't happen. Instead, his opponent played bishop d4 to cover the mate on f2. But that's only part of the problem. And now Smyslov unleashes another theme. He goes for the windmill. Bishop to h2. Only one move, king h1. And now we unleash it. Bishop takes e5. Now with a pin you can't take the rook, so you must go back to g1. and we continue the windmill, bishop h2, and then go back and win the queen. And yeah, this wins the game. Actually, his opponent resigned after bishop takes e5, but I thought it was nice to demonstrate the windmill theme. So a nice game by Smyslov at 14, and this rook d3 move is really one of the nicer ones I've seen lately. And I hope you enjoyed this little game and this little tidbit about Smyslov. So see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.